Money talks, but sometimes it whispers lies. Right now, someone you care about might be slowly losing control of their financial life, not through dramatic fights or obvious threats, but through subtle moves that feel almost caring. The scariest part? They probably don't even realize it's happening. Financial abuse isn't always about someone stealing your credit cards or emptying your bank account overnight. The most dangerous kind happens in broad daylight, wrapped in concern and disguised as love. It's the kind that makes you question your own judgment, while someone else quietly takes the wheel of your financial future. Today, we're exposing the 5 hidden signs of covert financial abuse that most people miss until it's too late. These aren't the obvious red flags everyone talks about. These are the subtle manipulations that happen behind closed doors, the ones that make you feel crazy for even noticing them. If you've ever felt like something just feels off about how money decisions are made in your home, you need to hear this. Because recognizing these signs isn't just about protecting your bank account. It's about protecting your freedom, your future, and your sense of self. Let's dive into the world of covert financial abuse, where control wears a mask of care. Sign 1. The helpful financial manager. This one feels like a blessing at first. Someone steps in to help you manage your money because they're better with numbers, or they just want to make things easier for you. They take over paying bills, managing accounts, and making financial decisions. On the surface, it looks like care. Underneath, it's control. The helpful manager starts small. They offer to handle one monthly payment, then another. Before you know it, you're completely locked out of your own financial life. They know every dollar that comes in and goes out, but you don't. They make all the decisions, but you just follow along. Here's what makes this so dangerous. They're not stealing your money in the traditional sense. They're stealing your financial independence. They're creating a situation where you become completely dependent on them for every financial decision. When someone controls your access to money, they control your choices. When they control your choices, they control you. The helpful manager will often say things like, "Don't worry about it, I've got it handled," or "You don't need to stress about these things." But here's the truth. Your money is always your business, no matter who's helping you manage it. Real help comes with transparency, not secrecy. Sign 2. The guilt trip accountant. Money becomes a weapon of emotional manipulation. Every purchase you make is questioned, judged, or used against you later. But it's not done through screaming or obvious arguments. It's done through subtle guilt, disappointment, and emotional manipulation. The guilt trip accountant keeps a mental ledger of every dollar you spend. They remember that coffee you bought 3 weeks ago, the book you ordered online, the small gift you bought for a friend. These purchases become ammunition in future conversations. "Remember when you spent money on that unnecessary thing?" becomes a common phrase. They make you feel selfish for wanting basic things. They make you feel guilty for spending money on yourself, even when it's your own money. They create an atmosphere where you have to justify every purchase, explain every decision, and apologize for having normal human needs and desires. This type of abuse is particularly cruel because it attacks your self-worth. It makes you question whether you deserve nice things, whether your needs matter, whether you're being reasonable or selfish. Over time, you start policing your own spending, not because you can't afford things, but because you can't afford the emotional cost of the guilt that follows. Sign 3. The future saboteur. Your financial future becomes their playground. They make decisions that benefit them in the long term, while putting your financial security at risk. This might involve discouraging you from saving, investing, or building your own financial independence. It could mean taking on debt in your name, making major purchases without your input, or steering you away from financial opportunities. The future saboteur is particularly dangerous because they're playing a long game. They're not just controlling your money today, they're making sure they'll control it tomorrow too. They might discourage you from advancing in your career, going back to school, or starting a business. They frame these limitations as protection. You don't need the stress of a bigger job, or starting a business is too risky. But here's what's really happening. They're keeping you financially dependent and limiting your options. They're making sure that leaving becomes harder, not easier. They're building a cage out of financial limitations and calling it safety. The most insidious part is that they often make these decisions seem logical and caring. They're protecting you from financial risk, or they're handling the big decisions so you don't have to worry. But protection that limits your choices isn't protection. It's control. Sign 4. The information gatekeeper. Knowledge is power, and financial knowledge is financial power. The information gatekeeper keeps you in the dark about your own financial situation. You don't know how much money you have, where it's invested, what debts exist, or what your financial picture really looks like. They might tell you bits and pieces, but never the whole story. They give you an allowance or spending money, but you don't know where it comes from or how much is left. They handle all communications with banks, investment companies, and other financial institutions. You're living in your own financial life, but you're not really living in it. You're just visiting. This creates a dangerous dependency. When you don't know your own financial situation, you can't make informed decisions about your life. You can't plan for the future, prepare for emergencies, or even know if you're being told the truth about your financial health. The information gatekeeper often justifies this by saying they're protecting you from financial stress or that money matters are too complicated for you to understand. But here's the reality. Your financial information is your right, not their privilege to share or withhold. Sign 5. The generous controller. This is the most confusing form of financial abuse because it looks like generosity. The generous controller gives you money, pays for things, and seems financially supportive. But every gift comes with strings attached. Every dollar given is a debt that must be repaid in compliance, gratitude, or behavior. They might pay for your car, but then use that fact to control where you go and when. They might cover your phone bill, but then check your usage and question your calls. They might give you money for personal expenses, but then use that generosity to make you feel obligated to do what they want. The generous controller creates a psychological debt that's impossible to repay. They give you things you need, then make you feel guilty for needing them. They solve problems they might have created, then expect endless gratitude for their solutions. This type of abuse is particularly damaging because it makes you question your own feeling. When someone is giving you things, it feels wrong to complain about how they're treating you. It feels ungrateful to want independence when someone is being financially supportive. But support that comes with conditions isn't support. It's control with a prettier package. The real cost of financial abuse. Financial abuse isn't just about money. It's about freedom, dignity, and the right to make your own choices. When someone controls your financial life, they're controlling your ability to leave, to choose, to dream, and to plan for your own future. The damage goes beyond bank accounts. It affects your confidence, your sense of reality, and your belief in your own judgment. It makes you question whether you're capable of handling your own life, whether you deserve better treatment, whether you're being reasonable or difficult. But here's what you need to know. You deserve financial transparency in your relationships. You deserve to know where your money is, where it's going, and how financial decisions are made. Breaking free from financial abuse. If you recognize these signs in your own life, know that you're not alone and you're not crazy. These behaviors are real, they're harmful, and they're not your fault. Financial abuse is a serious form of control that deserves recognition and response. Start by educating yourself about your financial situation. If possible, begin building your own financial knowledge and independence. Seek support from trusted friends, family members, or professionals who can help you understand your options. Remember, real love doesn't control, it empowers. Real care doesn't limit, it expands your options. Real support doesn't come with conditions. It comes with respect for your autonomy and your right to make your own choices. If this video opened your eyes to some uncomfortable truths, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content about recognizing and overcoming toxic relationships. Your support helps us reach more people who need to hear these messages. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you ever experienced any of these signs? What financial red flags do you think people should watch out for? Your stories and insights help create a community of awareness and support. Speaking of toxic relationships, make sure you check out my last video about 7 signs of toxic parents, where we dive deep into the subtle ways parents can damage their children's emotional development. Thank you for watching, and remember, you deserve relationships that build you up, not tear you down.